Hello kids, we welcome you to our KIDSLAND family.
So kids, as usual, our teacher Mamo Kanu is in touch today to do today's lesson for you. So let's hand over the program to our teacher.
Yes, Joanna, today we are talking about the power of a pebble. Now let's go to today's lesson. The power of a pebble. Saul the Sullen was still king over Israel, although he had departed from the Lord, and in his sight he was no longer a king. He was very gloomy and dark in his mind, for he had driven the Lord's spirit away, and his light was gone. His servants tried to amuse him, and told him of David, the son of Jesse, who was a skillful player on the harp and a brave and handsome youth. So Saul sent for David, and David, bringing presents from his father, came to the king's house. Saul was greatly pleased with David, and asked Jesse to let his son stay with him, for when the evil spirit was upon him, if David played upon his harp the darkness left him. But this did not last, and after a while David went back to his flocks, and Saul forgot him. Then the Philistines rose against Israel again. Their camp was on a mountainside, and Saul gathered his warriors on the side of another mountain, and there was a valley between them. Out of the Philistine camp a giant came one day, Goliath of Gath. He talked loud and often in order to terrify the Israelites, asking them to send out a man to fight with him. But he was not truly brave, for he had carefully covered his great body with armor of brass, so that no spear or sword could touch him. He defied Israel every morning and evening for 40 days, and no one was found who would dare to go out alone to fight him. David's elder brothers were in camp, and Jesse, their father, called David from the flocks to take food to them. He found the army of Israel ready to go into battle. But Goliath came out as he had done each day and defied the Israelites, who ran in terror at the sight of him. The spirit of David was moved at this, and he said, "Who is this Philistine that he should defy the armies of the living God? The man who killeth him, said one, the king will enrich him, and will give him his daughter and make his father's house free in Israel." Then Eliab, David's eldest brother, spoke sternly to David, asking him why he had left his sheep to come down and see the battle, and called him naughty and proud. But David still talked with the men, for the Spirit of the Lord was strong within him. When Saul heard of him and sent for him, David said, "Let no man's heart fail because of him. Thy servant will go and fight with the Philistine." Saul frowned at David and said, "Thou art not able to go against this Philistine. Thou art but a youth, and he is a man of war." Then David told the king how he had killed both a lion and a bear that had come down upon his father's flocks, and that he could also conquer the Philistine. "The Lord that delivered me out of the paw of the lion, and the paw of the bear," said David, "he will deliver me out of the hand of this Philistine." And Saul said, "Go, and the Lord be with thee." Then Saul armed David with his own armor, but David said, "I cannot go with these, for I have not proved them," and he put them off. And this was the way David armed himself to meet the giant. He took his staff in hand, and chose 5 smooth stones from the brook and put them in his shepherd's bag, and with his sling in his hand, he drew near to the giant. Goliath came on also, his armor-bearer carrying the shield before him. But when he saw the youth David, he despised him, for he was without armor, or sword or spear, only his staff. "Am I a dog, that thou comest to me with a staff?" said Goliath, and then he told him that he would soon give his flesh to the birds and the beasts. "Thou comest to me with a sword, and a spear, and a shield," said David. "But I come to thee in the name of the Lord of hosts, the God of the armies of Israel, whom thou hast despised." Then the Philistine came down upon little David to destroy him, and David ran, not away from him, as the men of Israel had done, but straight toward him, taking a pebble from his shepherd's bag as he ran. Quickly putting it in the sling, he whirled it in the air once, twice, and then it went swift and straight to the mark. It sunk into the forehead of the giant, and he fell dead upon his face. Then David ran and stood upon the dead Philistine and cut off his head with the giant's great sword. And when the Philistines saw that their champion was really dead, they fled, pursued by the shouting hosts of Israel. David cutting off Goliath's head. Saul had forgotten the youth who played upon the harp before him, for when he sent for him after the battle, he said, "Whose son art thou, thou young man?" And David answered, "I am the son of thy servant Jesse the Bethlehemite." And Saul took him to live with him from that day.
So kids, today we learned a lot about the story of David. We hope that your life will get many things from this.
If you are not connected to our website yet, connect to our website today, and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Then you can watch as soon as we post a video.
This is the KIDSLAND family.